welcome to another exciting podcast. Joining us again today is Amy Sawyer, all the way from Norway, who's my co host. She loves interviewing classical crossover artists, sopranos, mezzo soprano. She loves it. So here she is again. Thank you so much for being here again, Amy.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me again.
You're very welcome. Now, our guest today is fantastic. Down at the bottom of this here is coloratura soprano Christina Johnston, known affectionately as the Nightingale, a rising star in the world of classical music. At just 17 years old, she secured a prestigious scholarship to study at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama in London, where she currently is now. Her talent began to soar, and since then, Christina has captivated audiences across Europe, Asia, and South America with her exceptional vocal abilities. Now, you probably all know Nadia Eide and others who color tour. So, if you know what that is, it's a fantastic vocal, sort of like a nightingale, I guess you would call it. Um,
Mhm.
and so her performances are characterized by their purity and agility and expressiveness, a blend of beauty and technique that makes every performance unforgettable. Her repertoire spans Mozart, oh, good choice, Offenbach,
Mhm.
Puccini, Tosca,
Mhm.
Turandot, Nessun Dorma, Strauss, and beyond, showcasing the wide array of styles she can master with grace and poise. Beyond her
Oh.
stage presence, and her presence right now just brightens us up here. She's a versatile artist who has lent her voice to a variety of mediums, including film scores and public events for heads of state. Wow, I want to find out about that one. Her commitment to diverse musical expressions and her ability to connect with listeners have cemented her status as one of the most exciting young voices in classical music today. Thank you, Christina Johnson, coloratura soprano, for joining us today on the podcast.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Um, can you tell us about your early years and how you discovered your love for singing?
Oh, wow. So I think for me, it all started. I've always loved singing, but it all started when my mother and I had a major car accident when
Oh,
I was 3.5. And she died at the scene. I know we're
oh,
getting dramatic already,
yeah.
but she died at the scene, and we had to be cut out of the car, and
Oh,
it was quite a traumatic collision, and her knees and legs were smashed into 50 pieces.
oh,
And anyway, fast forwarding that, she was resuscitated. She did live, but she was in hospital for over a year. And during that time, my dad, he used to lead the worship at church. He could play guitar and piano, and he had a nice voice. And he started to teach me how music could be my expression through my almost grief as a child, not having their mum around for over a year. Um, I couldn't express myself as a 3-year-old. I didn't have the words to
hmm,
say that I was unhappy or I was sad. So he taught me that to express my feelings through music and through song and through worship. And then we started doing harmonizing in the car. I remember when I was like 4, he would then play a song and he'd say, "Come on, Chrissy, harmonize to it." And he'd
wow.
teach me all the thirds. And, he really spent a lot of time teaching me about music in that year. And I just fell in love with music and the feeling that I felt when I could express myself, um, and that kind of almost elation of freedom, um, of emotions. So that's where it started. And I think then it started to develop through my younger years. I loved acting because, again, I could escape. So it was a constant escape, I think, from my reality. So that's it in a nutshell.
Well, I'm so sorry about your mom. That must have been terrible, very frightened for a
Yeah.
child as such as yourself to see that and be part
Mm.
of like that. You still traumatized by that after so many years, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I still remember the car accident
Wow.
vividly. I can see it today. But if that hadn't have happened, then perhaps music wouldn't be such a vital part of my life. So really, it shaped me into who I am. And my mum is still here today. She
Oh,
still
good.
lives with me. So she's completely disabled, but not completely like she did. She's a very strong woman, so she did. They told her you'd never walk again, but she proved them wrong. So she's a very amazing woman. So yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, I like the
yeah,
word coloratura. Now I know that's like ha 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 ha. Ha. I know, and I like
yeah.
that the word color is in it. Now, how did you manage to find out your vocal style? Like you could be a soprano, mezzo soprano, contralto. How did you know you
I
were a
think
mezzo soprano?
so. They found out that or obviously, I found out I was a soprano when I was quite young because I started singing lessons when I was 9. Um, so my singing teacher straight away said, "Yeah, you're a soprano," because I could sing really high. And then as it developed, I knew I could sing extremely high, but nobody sort of put me in a box, as it were. And then when I went to Prague, I auditioned at the Opera House, and the repetitor there did some exercises with me, and I kept going higher and higher and higher. And she then said in her beautiful Eastern European accent, "Darling, you are a coloratura soprano." So I was like, "Oh wow, okay." So then I started to develop my coloratura technique from probably the age of 20.
That's fantastic.
Can you share some of your earliest musical influences?
Oh, well, they're very diverse. So I started with when I was probably of Elaine Page was my first one.
Oh.
I was obsessed with cats, so I first heard the memory song when I was round my my grandmother's house. She had a musical wooden box that she'd brought. She'd bought it in Switzerland, and she'd brought it home. And I used to love winding it up and opening it and watching little clogs go round. And it played Memory from Cats. And I said to her, "Oh my gosh, I love this song, Granny. What is it?" And she said, "Oh, it's Andrew Lloyd Webber's most famous song at the moment called Cats." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then that became then I made my parents buy me the DVD of Cats, the musical from the West End, and Elaine Page was playing um, the main role, and I fell in
Mhm.
love with Elaine Page, obviously. Then I heard Whitney Houston while I was in my father's car. He was driving somewhere, and I fell in love with Whitney Houston for a bit. And then I fell in love with Maria Callas.
Oh
And so
wow.
it really, really, and Barbara Streisand. Barbara Streisand was a
Oh,
huge one for
so
me.
good.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good. So yeah, I think I got obsessed with many different singers, and whatever singer I got obsessed with, I'd get all the DVDs, I'd get all the music, I'd ask my parents to buy me all the songs, and so I could listen to them over and over again and listen to their style and how they sang, and especially Barbara Streisand. I watched all her films, and I remember just sort of studying her, how good she was at acting, and I was like, I that's how good I want to be. So that's kind of, yeah, that's that's my musical
Yeah.
influences.
That's amazing. My older brother, he's a big fan of of Barbara Streisand, and we watched Funny Girl when I was younger. Funny
Yeah,
Girl
Funny
and Hello
Girl. Yeah,
Dolly. So Funny
yeah,
Girl, I knew because I loved singing and performing when I was a kid. We would sing and perform Funny Girl, all the music from Funny Girl. My
really.
favorite one was I'd rather be blue thinking of you. I love that one. And with
Yeah.
and Omar Sharif, we love that movie. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
so but yeah, and so when you went and you got a scholarship at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, how did that
Yeah.
impact your career trajectory?
So I'll take you back to the audition bit first. So my second idea of what I wanted to do in life is what my father wanted me to do was to become a vet. So that was my kind of backup plan.
Wow.
But obviously my dream was to be a singer because I loved acting. That was my I felt that was my purpose in life. But if that didn't happen, I was going to be a vet. So I gave myself kind of a decision in life, which was this audition at Guildhall. So Guildhall is the best conservatoire in the country for singing. So I said to myself, said, well, if I get in, then I know I'm meant to be a singer. If I don't get in, then I'll go down being a vet. And I went into the audition, and they offered me a scholarship on the spot after I sang. And they were like, "Can you come and sign the paperwork that you're going to start in next September?" And straight away, I knew that's what I wanted to do. So yeah, that was my first bit that come and put me into that's where I want to go in life. I want to be a singer. And then during Guildhall, they really developed my voice into singing opera. I was more musical theatre at the time. I really wanted to do musical theatre,
Mhm.
but they pushed me in the opera direction. Um, but actually, at the end of Guildhall, when I finished my final recital, they told me that I should go into musical theatre. So, yeah.
What what could you have been the singing vet? Oh, the dog needs a heart. We
I
got to
know.
operate. You
I
could have
know.
been.
I could have. It could
Yeah.
have been. I could have been. But it obviously wasn't meant to be. But yeah, I do love animals.
I
So,
know when I spoke to Hannah Magnelli on a podcast some months ago, she said that I think she's an ERT or something, but people in the ambulance, um, she actually sang to them, so it was kind of
oh,
interesting. Yeah.
that's really nice.
So, how do you choose songs to perform and record?
Oh, um, well, I always go on what song has touched me. So,
Ah,
um, if you don't feel it, then you can't do it justice.
mhm,
So for me, I have to feel that feeling in between your ribs there when
mhm.
it goes straight through you. That's when I know that piece of music for me is magic and I can do it justice. If I don't feel anything, then it's very difficult to give your whole being to a song. So that's the first thing. The second thing is what how difficult it is. I've got a I've got a bit of an obsession of choosing songs that are so hard to sing. Um, that most people don't want to sing them, but I want to because it kind of gives me a challenge, and especially with the way my brain works, having something to really focus on and sort of go through and make sure that I can make it perfect. It gives me a challenge and it kind of focuses me to do something. So yeah, that's the second one. And then the third one is what I'm allowed to record. So
Ah,
you go to a producer and you say, "Oh, can I do this song?" And they usually say, "Well, it's been done before a million times." And I go, "But I can sing it differently." Then no, but it's be done. Can you choose something that's a bit more rare? So it's basically those three things. It's what you feel, the challenge, and then what you're allowed.
ah.
But you could literally do a rendition Nessun Dorma because Lucy Kay did Nessun Dorma and she did pretty well. That's from Turandot from Puccini's opera.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
really good. So you could do
I've
that.
sung.
But if you can't do Nessun Dorma in Italian, what you do is you sing the English version. None shall sleep tonight. That would suit your voice. If you do it in English, you could do that as
Yeah,
well.
I mean, I've sung Nessun Dorma many times in
There
concerts,
you go.
so
There you go.
I've never recorded it, but I would love that is something I would love to do because lots of singers who do Nessun Dorma, sopranos, they have to take Nessun Dorma down, so they take it down a few tones, whereas I can sing it because I'm coloratura, I can sing it exactly as it's written for tenor,
Hmm.
so it's really very, very high. So yeah, I love singing Nessun Dorma. It's beautiful.
The one thing is that Nessun Dorma is meant for the man and Turandot, but I know there are male sopranos. I would love to hear a male soprano sing that song.
Yeah,
Those are
that would be
rare. I've heard
lovely.
I've I've heard a male soprano is incredible the high they can go, even higher than the soprano themselves.
I know. I know they even challenge a coloratura soprano, so
See, what kind of style do you prefer? Like classical pieces or hmm, like what genre?
what what genre I like to sing
Hmm.
or listen to? What am I- oh. I mean, I've sung all different genres, so it's especially through COVID, it really taught me how to use my voice. Um, but I love singing like Freddie Mercury music just because
Really?
it suits my the way how high he was. I can just
Mhm.
put it up for my voice and it works really well, just singing an octave higher. Um, but yeah, I love musical theatre. Musical theatre is my real passion. But I love opera. So either one of those, and I love crossover. I love singing film music. So
Yeah.
I think out of those three are my favorites. Film music is probably actually higher than musical theatre. So film music, musical theatre, opera. I mean, they're all kind of on the same, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're all kind of yeah.
Wow. Wait, when you were what sort of challenges did you face during your debut at the State Opera Prague as the Queen of the Night in Die Zauberflöte?
I think the biggest challenge was they had done it before, and I had to learn it as it was. So, and also being a very young age, being 21, it was super young to start as Queen of the Night, and everyone on the stage who I was sharing a stage with was so much older than me. So, yeah, I think that was the biggest challenge.
Wow, that's amazing. So, how was the experience of performing on Broadway in the production of Amadeus? Did it differ from your operatic roles?
Um, yes, I mean it was different because you were working with actors, so I was basically the only. There was a choir, but I was the only kind of singer. So,
Hmm.
but it was amazing to work with Shakespearean actors. It was just an absolute, yeah, it was
It's,
just wonderful. I just because I love acting so much, and I always think of myself. I don't know if you know the famous French soprano Nathalie Dessay.
I think so. I'm not sure though.
So she's a lot older. She's now not
Mhm.
doing opera anymore. Um, but her voice is very similar to mine. So if you ever get the chance to play Natalie Dessay singing Queen of the Night and me singing Queen of the Night, our top range is is very difficult to decipher. Even my husband, if Natalie Dessay comes on, he's like, "Is that you singing?" I'm like, "No, it's Natalie." And it's sometimes the other way
Oh,
around. So it's you you must listen to Natalie to say see what you think. But anyway, she said that she's always thought of herself as a an actress or an actor who sings. And that's exactly what I think. I've
huh.
always thought of myself actor. I'm an actor first and then I'm a singer because I'm telling a story every time I sing I'm a storyteller.
But when you say you're an
So
actor or actress, I like to say actress. But anyway, it makes me feel like you were in big blockbuster movies and stuff like that.
no, I meant as in you, as soon as you get on stage,
You're an actor. I see what you mean. Yeah, that makes sense.
you're in character.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So you're an actress who sings. The actress first because you are telling a story and you can't sing without telling the story.
Oh, what does music mean to you on the personal level?
Um, I think music on a personal level um is probably what I said before, like a bit earlier to you, is it's a way of expressing myself where words fail. And I've
Ah, yeah.
always, since I was
Mm,
very young, I've always thought that. And when I was 11, my father sadly passed away,
mm.
and music became even more. even more important then.
Mm.
It solidified my thoughts of music does say things when words can't.
Hmm.
And it touches people's hearts. It's a way of communicating as well. Like we can speak different languages, but if we sing, when we sing music or when we perform any music, whether it's sung or whether it's just instrumental, it can cross boundaries. It can cross continents. It language, nothing else matters. Music is what connects us.
Yeah, that's true. But what if you don't like music? Do you still get connected with them? I mean, if somebody
Who
comes up
doesn't?
with, "I hate music. I don't want to hear music." Hey, yeah. Do you still get connected with them? Or I mean, I know music is life, and people live their life with music. You can't live without music. But there are people out there that generally just don't like music. You know, because I was at somebody's house, and my phone started like doing the song thing, and she goes, "Get out!" I said, "Why? This is a quiet place. Get out!" So now when
But
I'm
I
there,
think
I
maybe
have to turn everything
it's
off.
if it's the right situation, perhaps if that person went to a concert or if they were walking down the street and suddenly they heard a beautiful Ave Maria or something, or they walked into a church
Hmm.
and some beautiful choral music was playing, I really truly 100% believe there is not one person on this planet that you can't touch with music.
Hmm.
Mm,
Whether
that's
they
true.
think they don't like music or not, I I I 100% believe that there is a piece of music that would touch their hearts.
I believe there is, and I know there's several pieces of music. When I hear it, I'm like Moonlight Sonata, Movement One by Beethoven.
Hmm.
That moves me.
Yeah,
I don't like the second
yeah,
movement, but I like the first, and the third is more upbeat. But the first, I'm like
yeah.
listening to it, and you hear do 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 do. I'm like, oh, and it could be raining, and raining is a very sad time. But when you hear that song and you look out and it's raining, you're like happy. I know it's weird sometimes that some music, sad music, makes you happy. But you're talking about you being an actor, and I know you
Hmm.
work with Shakespearean actors. If you knew exactly what they went through to do the role, um, how did you prepare for and manage the role that involves multiple characters like Queen of the Night and Olympia?
I mean, yeah, they're completely different characters. Olympia is a mechanical doll, so she's not even human. Um, so it's getting into that mindset. So I'm the nice thing about it is that I love acting characters that are not like me. So when I played Selena in Don Giovanni, that's me. That's very girly and happy and light and sweet. Getting married today, and it's that falling in love. It's all very me, like innocent young girl. Whereas when you play Queen of the Night, you are a strong, independent, love scorn, angry woman who wants revenge. So you
Mhm.
have to kind of I had to take myself out of being Chrissy and getting into being this nasty character. And it's almost quite fun to do that, to kind of take yourself out of yourself. And the same with Olympia, like taking myself out of me and becoming this kind of non-human doll, but you're still innocent.
Mm,
Olympia is a completely innocent mechanical doll. She's never lived. So it's almost like you're becoming a child. So yeah, it's getting those details of each character and trying to find ways of um, filtering yourself out of what you want to be, but finding ways of getting into that character, if you get what I mean.
yeah, Amy, have you seen any of the Olympia and Queen of the Night? Have you seen any of those? Or
Yeah, it's so good.
Oh, thank you.
that's awesome.
If you can perform with any artist, living or past, who would it be?
Oh, golly. Oh, that is a really good question. Uh, there are so many though, like not alive and alive that is it just one or can I choose a few?
Sure,
Oh
choose
yeah, choose
two.
a few.
Choose a dead one and choose a living one.
Oh, golly. Oh, a dead one. I've got two. Um, Probably it would have to be Maria Callas.
Ooh,
Ooh.
nice.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I've actually got three. No, Maria Callas. Maria Callas because she was my childhood inspiration. So definitely Maria Callas. And living today, oh, now, I'd say Andrea Bocelli.
Oh, yes.
Oh, he's
Yes,
so
my
good.
Yeah.
favorite. I would love to do a
Just
duet
because
with Andrea Bocelli and Josh Groban. That would be an ultimate threesome right there.
Josh Groban, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Both, yeah. Both of them. I love both of them, and that's my dream to sing with them both. So I would love to do, but Andrea Bocelli first because Andrea Bocelli was the go-to artist from my age of 12. I remember for my 12th birthday, so it was just after, it was a year after my father passed away. Um, I got so into music, and Andrea Bocelli and Sarah Brightman were like my two people that I was constantly listening to. And I asked my mum for his album that came out. He'd had a few before, but it was one of them that came out. And I got that for Christmas for around my 12th birthday.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think because he was so important for my teenage years, I think Andrea Bocelli has to be the answer for that one.
Oh, that would be awesome. The ultimate Christina Johnston and
Yeah.
Andrea Bocelli together
Yes.
singing,
Yes.
the prayer. The prayer,
The
perfect
prayer.
one.
Yeah, that
There
would
you
be
go. Amy
amazing.
the
I would love
prayer.
that.
Oh, I love that
Christina
Yeah,
and
song.
Andrea Bocelli singing the prayer. Or Josh
that would
Groban.
be
Yeah,
lovely.
that'd be
Oh, Josh
awesome.
Grove. Yeah.
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 So now that you say that, Josh, come here, just kidding.
Yes. Oh,
No, I was going to say, what about AI? Would you ever want to do a duet with an AI version of Edith Piaf or any of those other ones? How about an AI version? You can duet with Luciano Pavarotti, but it'll be the AI version of him. Or is that a no?
I mean, the purist in me would say no, because I believe AI could never get the quality or the biggest thing for me is the color of the voice, the intention.
Hmm.
The AI could never get that emotion, that rawness of what it is to actually sing and to be a human singing. It could get the tone, it could get the mechanical bit of the tone and the voice, great, but it will
Hmm.
never get the meaning behind the tone. If um yeah, if you understand that, what the intention and the emotion, it would never capture that. So I would say no,
I like
just
your
for that
answer. How
reason.
about you, Amy? What if you had a chance to have your voice as an AI? You can take an AI and put your voice to, and you could sing anything. It's amazing. But
Yeah,
it doesn't have the emotion, doesn't have the reality, and it's
yeah,
all just. But it's amazing though, the technology.
yeah.
Um,
It is amazing.
yeah,
Technology is incredible.
yeah. When you how does performing such diverse repertoire, ranging from Mozart to Offenbach, affect your vocal technique and performance approach?
Um, so I think of myself, and I think of all voices a bit like any instrument. So, for example, if you imagine my voice is like a Bechstein piano,
Hmm.
a good quality Bechstein piano or a Steinway. Uh, the quality doesn't change, but the technique changes. So you can play jazz on a piano, or
Hmm.
you can play classical on the piano, or you can play a simple pop song on the piano, a
Hmm.
ballad, like a lovely Elton John ballad. Now you can do the same with the voice, but you just have to know the technique and of how to use it
Mhm.
and change it for that genre. And that's the that's the trick to it.
You
Is that
you brought up a
you
good
can
point. Elton John, yeah, "Electricity" from Billy Elliot. That was a musical, and there's a song called "Electricity." That's a good one. I could see
yeah.
you singing that one.
Yeah, so it's all about the changing. Like I I think the voice is absolutely incredible. It's the most incredible instrument on this planet because you can't see it. It's driven by emotion. It changes with stress,
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
tension,
Right.
with
Yeah.
whatever you're going through. You have to completely learn how to use the larynx and
Mhm.
the diaphragm, and your whole body is your instrument. So for me, I think it's the most incredible instrument. Um, but also it's learning. I always say I do a bit of coaching on the side now,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I always say to people, close your eyes and feel the voice. Don't listen to it. Feel it.
Hmm.
Mm.
And then you can start to understand the mechanics of it and
That's
how it's
amazing.
used.
Uh, you are known for your like extraordinary high notes, but how
Mhm.
do you keep maintaining and developing it?
So um, I try and sing as much as I can, but also have rest days as well.
Hmm.
Um, and I think a big thing for me is I never think that I'm uh, good enough. So it's
Mm.
never good enough. So I'm always working to get it better.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, to look after my voice, I make sure that you have to rest enough. Unfortunately, again, as I said with the voice, you can't see it, and it is your body. So if you don't look after your body, then your your voice isn't going to work. And your vocal cords are a muscle, as like any muscle in your body. So you mustn't overstrain them,
Hmm.
but you've got to keep them lubricated and constantly working. It's
Hmm.
like if you're going to the gym and you stop the gym for two
Yeah.
weeks, you're going to notice. So
Hmm.
you need to keep it regulated and you need to keep it going. You need to keep it maintained. Keep those, keep those vocal cords constantly moving
Hmm.
and keep that body strong and well rested.
Hmm.
Um, and again, know your body, know yourself. You know when you're tired, you know when you've got energy. So it's again maintaining yourself through what you're going through and not being too hard on yourself, but also being hard on yourself.
Yeah.
It's it's a balance. It's like being on a seesaw. So you constantly need to work, but you also need to rest. So
Yeah. I've had
that's my answer.
Yeah, I've asked several opera singers. They like, what do you drink before performance? Some of them said lemon and water. Some said chamomile tea. What would be your go-to drink before you perform?
Uh, Water, hot water
Uh,
mostly. I like warm water, and yeah, with lemons, great. Um, I think the biggest thing is that whatever you drink before a performance is not it's not actually going to change your vocal cords.
hmm.
What will change your vocal cords is the hours leading up to it. So as soon as you wake up, make sure you have a good night's sleep because that will heal the vocal cords. Then as soon as you wake up, make sure you're drinking regularly and you get enough water to be hydrated. Um, because if the vocal cords are not hydrated, then they're not going to work as well. So I drink quite a lot of water on a performance day, a lot more than I would on a usual normal day. Um, and and yeah, just that's it really, just warm water and just water. Yeah, I'm quite
Yeah,
simple.
I'm a tenor myself, and whenever I kind of get to the like the Impossible Dream or any of those other musicals, you have to prepare your voice because then you end up like, especially I've learned not to have pizza because then you're going to be
Oh
going,
yeah,
oh, this phlegm, So you eat after
yeah.
you sing
Eat
and
after,
Hmm.
yes,
eat
eat after
after,
you
yeah.
sing.
Um,
Yeah, I
but
don't eat before I sing.
yeah, but as we all know, Amy and Christina, we all know that whenever you sing in front of a venue and you're in a venue and you have an orchestra, you have someone called the conductor. Now, what is your favorite aspect of singing with different conductors and orchestras around Europe?
Oh, uh, wow, that's a big question. Um, I mean, my favorite conductor is the conductor I always worked with at the Opera House in Prague. That's Richard Hein. He was he taught me so much. So he's probably my favorite like conductor that I worked with because he did my album as well. So my album Blessing, he was the conductor on that,
Mm,
and he's just a fabulous, fabulous man, very patient, um, but very hard working as well. So he'd always tell me when something was wrong, but he'd be very easy to follow.
mhm.
Um, uh, I mean, I've worked with so many conductors, but he's probably my favorite. So, yeah, is that the answer that
Yeah,
you were looking for?
yeah,
Just the
that's
conductor?
awesome
Yeah,
because I know many of them are different though. Many I've
yeah,
like if you had 6 or 7 conductors conducting orchestra, I bet you many of them instead of going like this, some of them would go like this, some of them, and basically, I had one conductor on my podcast, and he explained what this meant and why you do this and why you do this. It's very interesting. Um,
yeah.
I'm really thrilled with conductors because I know that without a conductor, you'd be going all over the place. I think no.
Yeah, like as I said, Rickard for me is probably the easiest, the gentlest
Mhm,
conductor that I could say that I would, because he'd always give me the uplift, and I'd always know I'd feel secure with him as well. He was always in control, whereas there are some conductors that their passion gets away with them and they become a bit too and then as a singer you really need someone. It's the same with
mhm,
having a good pianist that's
mhm.
accompanying you. You really need to have a good pianist that's really watching you and but also in control as well, so they're leading as well. And Richard Hine did that with conducting. He'd follow but he was in control, and I'd
Yeah.
always feel safe.
Oh yeah, I think we tried a little bit about these, but so you performed at many at some prestigious venues around the world. But what were some of your most memorable performances?
Oh wow. So probably the two that stick out the most, maybe three. But the two that stick out the most is singing for the president of China in China
Mhm.
on Chinese television. That was an incredible experience to be flown there. You know, he heard me in Prague,
Mm,
and he liked me so much that he flew me over to China, and that was an amazing experience. So much so that when I came back to the UK to see my mum and I went to our local Chinese restaurant that we love
mm,
very much. I've been going there since I was a child, and
mm. Getting me
and
hungry.
the yeah, I know. And the kitchen staff, the chef and his wife um, came out of the kitchen, and the owner of the Chinese restaurant came up to me and said, "Oh, the chef and his wife would like a photo." And I was like, "Why? Why?" And they were like, "Oh, they saw you on their Chinese television." Because they obviously have the network in the UK and they could access it, and they saw me on Chinese television. So
Oh
how funny is
wow.
that that in the tiny little village in Suffolk that they knew that I was on Chinese television. So that was quite memorable. The other one I would say was singing in South America.
Mm,
I sang at the National Theatre in Lima, and
mm.
it's the same theatre that Pavarotti. So Pavarotti stood on that stage, and I was
Wow,
like,
nice.
I only got told by the after the performance by the I can't remember what they're called, the person who not owns the theatre, but the manager of the theatre. The manager of the theatre in the reception afterwards, where I was meeting all the different audience members, they came up to me and said, "Oh, did you know that Pavarotti stood on that stage?" I was like, "No, I didn't. That's amazing." So yeah, that was really memorable.
Yeah, we had something here called Stage West, and you could go there to have your dinner, and then they would perform. Oh,
Oh wow.
so sad that they had to take that thing down, but it was awesome. But we do have a living arts center here, so I could literally go
Oh,
in there
that's
and just
nice.
go watch. I saw year ago February I saw Tosca, and it was good. Now,
Ah,
be-
lovely.
yeah, before I ask this question, I forgot to ask you. And it kind of question eluded me. So, um, have you ever performed Christine Daae, Phantom of the Opera yet?
Yes, well, actually, last year I got asked to come and audition for Christine Daae
Wow.
for the theatre in the West End at the Her Majesty's Theatre.
Mm.
So I got to sing in front of them. However, unfortunately, I didn't get the part,
Mm.
but I have sung it many times, and I love it so much. It's always been a dream role for me since I was a kid. So I don't know if I'll ever get to do it, but I hope one day they choose me. They did say in the email that they liked me, so maybe they'll choose me one day.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you on Chinese television, that doesn't mean that you actually sing in Chinese. Well, what other languages do you sing in besides
So
that?
on my album, I think I've got 10 languages on my album. I
Oh,
sing in Norwegian,
oh wow.
obviously, Selvig song. So that's in Norwegian, and then I sing in Japanese. I've sung in Japanese for a
No
Japanese
way.
composer, Joe Hisashi. I sang from Princess Mononoke.
Wow.
So I sang that song, which was
Amazing.
lovely. I love singing Japanese. I've sung in Hebrew for the Mayor of Jerusalem, um, which was incredible. Actually a performance that stood out. I sang at Prague
Wow.
Cathedral.
Mhm.
It's a huge cathedral in Prague, a part of the Prague Castle, and it was the Day of Jerusalem, and the Mayor of Jerusalem was watching, and I sang Jerusalem of Gold, which is in Hebrew,
Wow,
which is
yeah.
actually it's on the film. What's the film? Schindler's List. They sing at the end, Yerushalayim Shel Zachaim. So I sing
Wow.
that.
It's
And
multi-talented.
It's on YouTube. Yeah, it's on YouTube if you want to look it
Yeah.
up.
So,
It's
knowing that you sing in all these different languages, how do you adapt your vocal technique for different language requirements and sound design needs when working on Czech films like Stoleti Miroslava Zikmunda?
so with all languages, I always say they all have the same vowels. So a nice open rounded vowel, the only thing that changes is the consonants and
Mm,
how you project them. So I just love languages. I think they're just amazing, and I love singing in the more languages I can sing in, the better. Um, because the more languages you sing in, you suddenly realize actually the more they're connected.
mm,
They are actually quite a lot of them are very similar. So you've got all your Slavic languages like Czech, Russian, even German is kind of in that category. Then you've got the Italian, the Spanish, the French, that's all kind of connected.
wow.
English is just the odd one. English is weird. I don't
Mm.
like singing in English. It's the worst. It's the worst language to sing in. It's horrible. It
Norwegian
really
is
is.
hard.
Norwegian's hard, but it's you just use the vowels. It's just wonderful.
Mm,
Norwegian, Finnish, Swedish, all that kind of language is just lovely to sing in.
mm.
Icelandic, that's all kind of connected. And then you've got all the kind of Arabic languages.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, everything is put into categories, and when you start putting them together, you realize how similar they are. Um, so yeah, I just love them. Love languages.
Is there a dream venue where you would love to perform one day?
Yes, Sydney Opera House. That was
Oh,
lovely.
so
Ooh,
That's
going
my
high and
dream,
mighty.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
One day, fingers crossed.
One day, yeah. But you're really good, so I think you would make it there. Um,
Oh, thank you.
Now, I know you did a lot of solo tours in the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Asia, and South America. How has touring
Yeah.
these regions influenced your artistic development and perception of audiences?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I think it's helped me be more um allowing to be more versatile. I think yeah, the versatility is the big answer there. Versatility in the fact that all audiences are different, but all humans are the same.
Mm,
So we've all been through the same things, the same traumas. We've all lost people. We've all fallen in love, or we've all felt love from our parents, or
Mhm.
whether we've fallen in love with someone or our friends. You know, love is such a versatile,
Hmm.
diverse feeling, and we've all felt it in some ways or another, and we've all lost it in some ways or another. And I think it's getting down to the raw emotion of being human and translating music. Again, music, as I said earlier, music translates through languages. It doesn't matter if I can't speak their language or they can't speak mine. Music goes beyond that. And realizing that what I've been through is probably similar actually to what someone else has been through. They might have lost their husband or their wife, or lost a child, or lost their parents. I mean, we can all relate to probably losing our parents. At some point in our lives, we're all going to lose our parents,
Hmm.
and that's something we can all relate to.
Mm.
Um, so I think it's uh, yeah, connecting to people, connecting to audiences through that emotion of what I've been through and what they're going through, and singing things that are going to connect to them. So yeah, that's my answer to that.
Yeah. My mother died in 93 and my father died in 2002. But when I watch Mary Poppins or I watch Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, I'm always thinking of the times I would sit there with my mom and watch those. Um,
Yeah, and
the
that
same,
connects that
yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
Yeah.
And my father he wasn't an opera singer, but he could have been. But his voice was amazing. I think I inherited it from him. And I'm not going to be mean when I say it. None of my family has tried to sing and they don't sing well
Yeah.
until one day I was in the kitchen of my sister's house and she started singing and I'm like, she goes, "What's the problem?" What was that came out of your mouth? I never heard it before. It was beautiful.
Wow.
Are there any upcoming projects you might have that you're particularly excited about?
Oh, yes. Yes, I do have two things to share with you
Oh,
both. So the first thing is that I'm currently working on releasing a new uh, album EP.
oh
I
yay!
have released a couple of the songs already. So I released The Greatest Victory a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
um, uh, which was an Easter song. So that will be obviously re showing itself this Easter. So that's The Greatest Victory. And then I did a song for Her Majesty's Jubilee, which was
Oh
Queen of Our
yes.
Hearts, which I wrote
Mm,
with another composer, which I released that as well, that the Queen actually heard, which was lovely just before
wow,
she passed away.
amazing.
And she wrote a beautiful letter back saying she loved the song. So
Oh,
that was
wow.
really, really lovely. So that's on the album. The album is going to be called Seasons, and it's seasons meaning seasons of your life.
Mm.
So how things change, your emotional seasons. So it's called Seasons, and there are quite a few lovely songs on there that I've written with another wonderful composer called Andrew Rayner.
Wow.
So that should be coming out sometime, hopefully May, June time. So
Okay.
that's quite
Mm.
soon. So that's exciting to you're the first people that have heard this. So you're the first to know. You've got exclusive access to this information. This season's album is coming out. It will be coming out. So you are just the first people I've told. So that's exciting. And then the next news to talk about is my possible hopefully it should be coming should be all figured out soon, is my tour around Victoria. My
That's
tour
right.
around
Victoria, BC. Yeah,
Victoria
we
Oh
discussed that.
Island.
yes.
Yes. Yes, so I will be performing. It's scheduled to be from the 17th of November to the 2nd of December this year, and I'll be doing a press day there on the 18th of November, 20th of November, performing in Port Albany. Then I'll be going to Parksville, then N Nanaimo, is that how I say that? Do you know that one in British Columbia?
The Nemo, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Very, yeah, that one. Then I'll be going to Duncan and Colwood and Sydney and Victoria. So that's all sort of in the pipeline. It hasn't been completely finalized yet, but that's the plan to come over to Canada in November.
Yeah. I've
So
actually been in
that's,
Victoria, BC, and you I'm just going to prepare yourself that you're going to love it. You won't want to leave. So we're going to make sure that
yeah,
if you
I've
don't want to leave, we're
heard
going to
that.
get your husband to grab you from there and take you home.
Yeah. But I can't wait. I can't wait to come to Canada because I haven't been to Canada yet. So that's a part of the world I haven't been yet. So I can't wait to hopefully come this November.
Yeah, that's gonna come and go quickly before you know it's gonna be Christmas again. Now
I know.
you talking about the Queen listening to one of your songs. Can you share a memorable experience where you sang for heads of state or diplomatic events, and what was the atmosphere like?
Uh, I was very scared. Probably, I mean, I'm always nervous when I sing. It doesn't matter if I sing to you both or I sing to 10,000 people or I sing to the Chinese president. It's the same feeling all the time. And if I didn't feel that, it would mean I didn't care.
Hmm.
And I was probably too confident, and being too confident is not a good thing. So, yes, I feel the same. I felt very nervous, um, but you do feel a sense of a little bit more pressure just because you're singing to someone who is in an important place in the world, and you want to impress them.
Hmm.
Um, and you feel you have to hold yourself in a different way. Like I felt a bit more poised than I do usually. So it was, yeah, very nerve-wracking singing to the president of Czech Republic and the European heads of state. Um, it does put a bit of pressure on you. Um, yeah,
I like
that's
that.
what, yeah.
I like that. What do you think some of the key takeaways from that is?
Um, I would say the key takeaways is uh, that pressure leads to a better performance. Yeah.
Mm.
So you think from singing in Hebrew for the Israeli ambassador during the Day of Jerusalem event, was that got a different feeling for you?
Yeah, especially that it was live broadcast to the mayor of Jerusalem. That was quite scary. And knowing that this is the first time I ever sung in Hebrew, and actually, uh, backstory to it, I only got told about it the week before, so I had to learn Hebrew in a week. So
Wow.
luckily, my coach, my repetitor in at the Opera House in Prague, um, her her father was Hebrew
Mhm.
and as actually a Hebrew teacher as well. So I quickly learnt it, and then she made me sing to him on the phone, and he then gave it the green light that it was okay.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, I know that the Queen had written to you saying she loved that rendition. Have you received any other significant awards or recognitions that stand out in your career so far?
Oh, I think that's the biggest one. That's definitely. I think that was the top one for sure. Um, I can't think. I bet you when we finish this, I'll suddenly think of something. But no, that was the. I can't think of anything that matches that.
Yeah, that's amazing. What do you think, Amy? You have any more questions?
Um,
Oh, I do. Oh, I've just think
Oh,
of one.
what?
ooh.
When I sang with Jose Carreras.
Oh my goodness,
So Jose,
really?
yeah,
Nice.
Jose Carreras chose me to sing with him for his farewell tour, and I actually, funnily enough, he's only like an inch higher than me, so I'm 5'1", and he's like he was so. Usually, singers are always up here on me because I'm so short, but this time I actually didn't have to wear high heels,
Oh
and
wow.
him and I were kind of on par because he's 5'3", so he wasn't too much higher than me. But when I sang, we sang together, he complimented me on my voice and said how amazing it was, and what an amazing the young singer I was. So that was huge for me because the three tenors, as growing up, my grandparents loved them, my parents loved them, so singing with Jose was just the icing on the cake. So yeah, that was amazing point in my career.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know if you ever heard of Aaron Fight. I think it's Aaron Fight, but he sang a rendition of Maria from Maria. Remember that? That's from
Yes,
what's that? What is
West
that?
Side Story.
Yeah, that's right. So he's pretty
Yeah.
good. And yeah, I haven't heard a bad tenor yet. I haven't heard a bad soprano. They're all good. They're all good. If you go to
Oh,
operabase.com, it gives you a list of over
yes.
12,000 sopranos, 12,000
Wow.
tenors, 12,000 conductors. Yeah. I
Wow.
gave you the link, Amy. Check it out.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
My
I've,
goodness, you're going to have a whole, like, you're going to have years and years worth of interviews ahead of
Yeah,
you.
I know.
yeah, yeah. Um, well, thank you so much for being on our show. I got one more question to ask, and I believe that Amy's going to
Okay.
like this one. So,
Okay.
if someone came up to you and said, Miss Johnson, Christina, I want to do what you do. How do I get to where you are, soprano, whatever?
Yeah. Okay. First thing I tell them is to find an amazing teacher. Um, a teacher who teaches natural singing and doesn't give you bad habits, and a teacher who isn't set in their ways, a teacher who is also willing to learn themselves and to be a better teacher. Um, so find someone that's really going to invest in you, and give you some really amazing tips on how to be a great singer, um, but sing as naturally as possible. Then find an acting teacher, get yourself into acting and get yourself as good at acting as possible, because
Hmm.
acting is just as important as the singing. If you sing without any feeling, what's the point in singing? You need to tell the story. You have to be good at acting to be a good singer. Um, because otherwise, yes, you can sing beautifully and it will sound fine, but there's a depth, there's an emotional depth to bringing a song to life and making it have something deeper, a deeper connection. And then I'd say go to as many musicals or as operas as study your favorite singers, study them, watch hours and hours of footage of musicals of different singers, and take away what you can, like take snippets of each singer and craft it to your own and make your craft really start to become a diamond. You have to chisel, keep polishing. So work really hard and never stop learning.
Thank you so much, Christina. Really appreciate. Amy, any last
Pleasure.
words? You're okay?
Yeah, well, actually, Natasha Barbieri's asked me to write an article sharing what I've learned from co-hosting, plus some of the interviews as well, and this is going to be one of them.
Yeah. She's
Oh,
still,
thank you. Oh,
yeah, she's my co-host on interviews like this, which are like sopranos, and they're from the
yeah,
UK because for me that's 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. and those are the days that I can do it.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I leave those. She's excellent. She's wonderful, and she makes Natasha proud.
Oh, oh, yeah. And Natasha's such a lovely,
Yeah.
lovely girl as
She
well.
is.
So so thank you,
Yeah.
Christina Johnson, for being on our podcast. Color to our soprano, everyone will be listed down below all her
Mhm.
information.
Thank
Thank you, Amy,
you.
for being my co-host
You're
today. Really
And
welcome.
appreciate it.
thank you both for your generosity and your kindness and for having me on your show.
Aw.
Thank you. I've loved every minute.
Oh yeah, I was excited when Amy wanted you to be on the podcast. I said yes, I
Yes.
love it. You know, yeah. And we're gonna
Oh,
get
thank
Georgie
you
Motram
guys.
on, I think, in a couple of weeks. I think, right?
Oh,
I
that's
think so, yeah.
wonderful. Oh, she's such a sweet soul as well. You'll love her.
She's really kind, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see who Amy has next because I put it in her hand to find the talent.
I
And
know we're
she-
I know we're in the process of getting Sarah Vaughan on
yeah, that's
eventually.
right. She was supposed to. Yeah,
Mhm.
she
Oh,
canceled
that'd
out
be
again, but she'll be
wonderful.
on
That's
eventually.
right, because she's moving house on when we were
Yeah,
scheduled to record, so we have to reschedule.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Oh,
Just right there,
thank
we're going to
you
say
so
goodbye.
much.
You're very welcome, Christina. Thank
Bye.
you.